Your nose is fine, Tiffany.
Everyone
Chill
gets
out.
a nose job in Korea.
Your nose is fine.
But is that because they want to, but to the super chatter's point, is that because South Korea is an American port and they want to look more white?
A lot of white girls get nose jobs too, so what do they want to look like?
True.
I love that.
Yeah, but I don't feel like that actually contends with the question. So I understand why there could be cultures which, for instance, have rings around their neck so that it stretches their neck and they have really long necks. And then what we would do is we would apply every other person who copied that culture and say, why do you want to look like X group? But if the pioneer of the group is the one who is starting the thing and other people are complying to move towards that thing, then we would assume that that's the culture you want to look like, right? Mm-hmm. So in this case, the question is, yes, I understand South Korea, though, is very much westernized. So westernized, in fact, that, it's basically been an American protectorate for, 70 years? So,
yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Is that why they're doing that, to the Super Chatter's question?
No. No, I think it's just in their genetics. Korean people just like...
Plastic surgery?
They like aesthetic. They like cute things.
It's in their genetics?
No, like in general, that's why the culture, they like cutesy things. That's why all the men there dress feminine.
Mm-hmm. It's in their genetics?
Yeah, culture comes from somewhere. It comes from genetics.
Yeah, but if you went back 100 years, bro, the men were not liking cutesy shit in fucking 1925.
How do you know?
Because male culture.
We can look at the culture in 1925.
There's no culture in 1925 that was like fucking with Hello Kitty. If you were a dude.
Well, Korea is like a really homogenous society, so people want to look like each other.
Sure, but like masculinity.
They would already look like each other without nose jobs, though.
Why are there 3 people up at the same time right now? Okay, whatever.
Right, when they would look like each other absent the nose job. So I don't understand that argument.
True. I mean, I guess it kind of comes from being westernized. Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, let's see here. Let me get into some of the other notes. We have. You know what? Actually, wait. Where the hell is it? Sorry, guys. One sec. What the hell? Why did my notes not save? That's weird. Oh, Tiffany. Okay. Tiffany, you wrote in your notes, you don't have a crazy dating story because you've never really dated around, but you do have hot takes. You say you should date within
Which one are you going to mention?
You should date within your culture and nationality.
Yeah.
So what do you mean?
Girl. You should.
What? And so when you...
wait, wouldn't this prove the Super Chatter wrong about the white boyfriend?
Wait, hold on just a sec here.
Okay.
Yo, Bob Evans, thank you for the gifted 20 memberships. Go ahead, Andrew. Thank you, Bob.
Oh, if that was the case, wouldn't that prove the Super Chatter wrong about a white boyfriend?
What do you mean prove him wrong?
Well, if you think you should only date within culture and nationality, right? Not a lot of white Koreans running around, right?
No, as long as you're assimilated to the culture and you have the same nationality, like you don't have to be the same race.
How does a white person and an Asian person have the same nationality, though?
Your passport?
Can you scoot your mic?
Yeah, your nationality is like your country.
Your country. Scoot the mic.
To the corner, please.
What do you mean? Yeah, they would have this. You could be an Asian American and a white American. You would have the same nationality, right?
Well,
why are you looking at me?
Yes, we just established that.
I'm confused with the difference between ethnicity and nationality was, but we got it.
Wait, okay, so you said
nationality is part of ethnicity.
No, it's not. You can be ethnically from one.
Yes, it most certainly is. 100,000%.
Can a white person be Korean?
That's what I was asking.
Yeah, but you can be ethnically something, and your nationality can be different.
Yeah.
Can you tilt your mic down a bit?
Yeah, your ethnicity is different. That's what you just said.
That's a category error.
You can be ethnically one thing, and your nationality can be from another place. Like, two things can be true at the same time.
Yeah, that's a category error. You're making a category error. So you're conflating racial characteristics with ethnicity. You can have an ethnicity absent race. So like American would be an ethnicity.
Okay.
I would think of as American as a nationality, and there's a lot of different
So
kinds of
what would be an
ethnicities that are
American-
Both things. It's
American.
both things.
If you're Native
Race
American.
can also be part of ethnicity.
They're not.
What?
But,
Let's-
but ethnicity is it's a broad stroke term, right? You could even say that independent family is an ethnicity. It just depends on how much you want to reduce it. But all ethnicity is pointing to is people groupings. That's it.
Well, okay,
So that could be grouped on nationality, race, whatever.
let's get a little clarification just to move things along here. You said you should date within your culture and nationality. So when you say culture, you mean what?
Culture, like
Okay, so what culture do you belong to?
just general like American culture.
Okay, and you said you should date within your nationality. So when you say nationality, you mean
Your passport.
like American.
Yeah.
So Americans should not date people from other countries?
Yeah.
Okay. So anybody living in America can date somebody else living in America, because that's the culture is broadly American, and the nationality is of course American.
Yeah.
So Americans can date Americans?
You should date within that
That
like spectrum, I guess.
so your hot take is that Americans
Well, I think
should date Americans?
no,
Is that
Americans
even a hot
shouldn't
take?
date like immigrants with a different passport. That's what I'm saying.
So okay, so you're saying okay, citizens of the United States
Mm-hmm.
should not date immigrants.
Or citizens
hot take is use green
or
cards.
citizens
No
with
green cards.
who haven't assimilated to the
I didn't
culture.
say it.
So okay.
I said it. I didn't.
By the way, Andrew, is this potentially TOS? You think, or I think it's okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
I think it's okay.
Yeah, it's fine. We were just talking about dating preferences.
Wait, so so if I was dating like a Mexican, no bueno.
I like the pun.
If well, depends like what kind of Mexican. If
A Mexican.
if she's like illegal.
She is a Mexican national. She's a Mexican national. Dwarf, no.
So she has a Mexico passport. Like a
Yeah,
Mexican
and
passport.
but she's here legally on a visa, but she's here legally. Would that be?
Well, I think you should date to marry. So
So you shouldn't marry anyone.
But
who's
you
not.
could make
Yeah,
her
you
an
shouldn't
American by
marry- you shouldn't
marriage. So,
marry-
But she would become a citizen if
That-
I were to marry her.
I know that's why.
Eventually, I
That's why
guess.
you shouldn't.
Because you don't want her to become a citizen.
Yeah.
So is
guess she's-
it
That's
people
the
that are from like not American, or people who are in America not legally that you don't agree with?
It's both. It's Americans who haven't. It's people with an American passport who haven't assimilated, and people who
Okay.
have assimilated but don't have an American passport.
What if there was an immigrant from Korea and she has taken on the American culture and she's assimilated, but she's an immigrant illegally? Can I marry her?
No.
No. Okay, just check.
So
What if she's a
you're-
dwarf and hot as fuck? What if she's
I mean,
not?
you could if you want to.
what
I
if
just
she's-
think you shouldn't.
Yeah, I shouldn't. What if she's not a dwarf and she's just like hot as fuck?
No.
wait, what is the reason though?
Yeah.
To create a homogenous society where there's no. It's like when you marry someone outside of your culture and nationality, you're kind of like diluting the culture like of your nation.
Do you know that this nation is founded off of immigrants?
So
My family was an immigrant, like granted a few generations back, but I think almost every single person in this room probably was an immigrant at some point, and that's what
There's a limit to that. I think if there's way too many immigrants coming in, this whole country's gonna lose its like identity.
So
I mean,
Because technically, this country was founded on white, like Christian values.
Okay, what about your boyfriend? If your boyfriend was an immigrant, would you still date him?
No.
you do a passport check on dates.
Wait, is it Is it TOS? Yeah. Andrew?
Now we've crossed the Rubicon.
Okay. Yeah, Andrew, just tell me, because you should just...
Yeah, now we've crossed into the... I mean, it's fine as it is, but now we've crossed into the Rubicon. But the idea here that you're promoting is it's just called cultural nationalism. It's just the idea that cultural homogeny is a thing which people generally strive towards. They want some type of... It has nothing to do with race at all. They're talking specifically about culture. So, for instance, let me give all of you an example. You can tell me if you agree or disagree. Japan has a distinct culture, and Japan has a distinct people group, and Japan wants to keep Japan Japanese. Can any of you think of a single problem with that?
I mean, I've been to Japan. I don't see any problem with the way that they live.
That's the point.
But I don't think it's applicable to the United States.
Yeah.
Well, even whether you do or you don't, you're right. You couldn't say that if the United States had such a standard, it would be immoral, because the standard itself for Japan, you just conceded, is not. So that's the point, right? So this is the point of a cultural nationalist, are saying if you have a culture which you want to keep intact, like the Japanese don't. They only allow in a very, very, very tiny amount of immigrants into the nation. And what's the argument for them not to do that? And there generally isn't one, really.
Mm.
Isn't like the definition of racism discriminating against race and nationality?
You got to speak straight into the...
Isn't the definition of racism discriminating against race and nationality?
Yeah.
So, what's the difference?
Are you saying the Japanese are racist?
I'm not saying that, but I'm saying like...
Well, then what's the problem with them wanting to keep Japan Japanese?
No, I'm just saying, like, in America, I feel like that's
but answer my question, though. What's the problem with Japan wanting to keep Japan Japanese, even though their policy, by your definition, they would be racist, right? So what would the actual problem be?
I mean, I don't live in Japan, so I don't really, like, care what they do, but, like...
I don't really know why that has anything to do with the question, though. Why do you need to live there in order to engage with the question itself?
Well, it doesn't affect me, but like I don't think it's...
Why does it matter?
Okay, I don't think it's a problem per se, but I just think I'm just making.
Yeah, it's not. So you're basically saying that racism isn't a problem, right?
No, that's
what
not what
you're
I'm saying.
Right?
No. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just...
Okay, well then if it is the case that you're saying, if the Japanese are discriminating against non-Japanese people, that's racist, but you don't have a problem with that, then what else could you be saying other than racism is okay? I don't get it.
Okay, well, I just don't want smoke with Japan, but I'm just saying, like, I'm just making a point. I'm just making a point. You know what? I'm just making a point.
She don't want the beef.
I do not want...
Does not want that Wagyu.
No,
beef.
I do not want any beef with that country. So I'm just making a point. I'm just saying... I'm just saying the definition of racism. That's all I'm saying.
That's
cool. And would they fit that definition? If they wanted to keep Japan Japanese, would they fit that definition?
I don't want smoke with Japan, but...
She doesn't want...
Yeah, I get it, but would they fit the definition?
Do you want smoke with Thailand?
No, I love Thai food.
Would they?
You know what? I digress.
I think that a different example than Japan would be like a lot of the Gulf states in the Middle East. Their citizenship is extremely exclusive and only offered to people who are born there and proven to be, that ethnically. So like you look at places like Kuwait or Qatar where they have
or
more...
Israel.
Yeah, where there's more foreign nationals living there without a passport than there are actual citizens of the country, which just creates like a very strange dichotomy, I think, to think that there's more like, that would be like if there's more non-Americans living in America than Americans? I don't know. It's just like a strange thing and generally...
I don't understand. How's it a false dichotomy? They're literally saying we don't want people groups other than ours here.
No. They're saying
yes.
Everybody, no, because they're allowing more people than citizens of their own country.
As long as it's underneath the threshold of the majority.
No, it's not. No, I think you should do your research a little bit because
using the Japanese example.
I'm talking about the Middle Eastern example that I just provided.
The subject. You created the false dichotomy. So the thing is like, if the Japanese people say, we want our nation to be 99% or 98% Japanese, right? And that is their official policy. Is that a racist policy?
I mean, I don't know. I guess it's subjective to whoever thinks, I don't know.
How is it subjective? That's their official policy. There's nothing subjective. It's literally objective. The official policy is the majority of Japan is to stay Japanese. That's the official policy.
But Japanese is not a race. So they're not discriminating against race.
Oh, okay. So the Japanese rule out everybody who doesn't look like an Asian Japanese person.
No,
now,
who is not a Japanese person.
A bunch of white people and then claiming that they're Japanese because they now have Japanese citizenship. They're not doing that.
Okay.
Wait, can anyone not be a citizen in Japan?
No, you can't.
You can't?
They only take X amount of immigrants per year to make sure that it stays Japanese.
Okay.
Cultural nationalism seems to fit in a lot better with smaller countries that are more homogenous. And in the United States, we have a lot of cultural pluralism, and that's what makes this idea of cultural nationalism not quite fit when your passport says USA.
Yeah.
What she said.
Well, okay.
Okay. And then going back to Tiffany, you also said, maybe we'll come back to the paying for dates thing later, but you said you shouldn't get married if you don't plan to have children. Not much there to really discuss. I don't know if you want to elaborate or. Basically, you shouldn't have kids out of wedlock.
There's not really a point.
You're scooting to the mic, please.